What's up guys? On today's video I'm working on my 1992 Honda Fourtrax 300. I picked this thing up pretty cheap, bought the four-wheeler for $100. At this point I'm probably in it for about $250, so not much at all. After putting this back together, I noticed at the beginning one of the problems that I had was the Kickstart wasn't working right. If I kicked it down, it wasn't engaging and turning the engine over the way it should. It's just not turning the engine over and it's slipping. Based on that and doing a little bit of research, I think it's the one-way clutch bearing. So I ordered one. I believe what's wore out on this is the bearing does not lock up in the direction it should. So it's slipping right on past that. So hopefully by replacing this bearing, this Kickstarter will be able to lock up and spin the engine over more consistently, even when I put a lot of pressure on it. So that's what we're working on today. When you take this banjo bolt out for the oil line, make sure you keep both the washers on here. Make sure you don't lose those. It's pretty important to keep this seal. And don't over tighten it. The original bolt that I had in here, put it back together, tightened it down. Didn't think I tightened it too much, but being an old bolt, I snapped it off. So be careful, get this thing snug, but not too tight. The banjo bolt I took out is a 10mm bolt. The rest of these bolts around the case are 8mm. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove those. That's what the inside of the case looks like. There's a few things to notice. We're going to need to put this back in place, this shaft, and this shaft. So make sure to keep those, know where they're at, and be ready to put those back in when we install the case. Once the case is off and you're ready to remove the clutch, this nut here is the only thing pretty much holding it on. It is reverse thread, so to get that off, you're going to spin the nut to the right, and it'll come off. And then we should be able to knock this loose after we get this nut off. The clutch should slide off pretty easily. If not, you can use a rubber mallet or the dead blow to get it off. But this one seems pretty loose. It'll slide right off. We've got a washer here. Remember to save that. That goes on the outside of the clutch and we put it back on. Clutch pad should just slide out like that. That gives us access to the bearing right here that we're going to replace. We're going to make note of which direction this is so we get the other one back in there the right way. This one here is the old bearing and it's marked. It shows here on the back side, it says outside down here, and we know that's to the outside of the clutch. The new one on the other hand, and this isn't a Honda brand, this is a different brand, it was a little bit cheaper. It's not marked outside. So the best way I can look at this, you can see there's a little bit different shape on these small pieces here. And that's to make sure that it's going to go the right way and only lock up in one direction. We're just going to match up the shape of the bearing here and hope for the best. It's a good idea to go ahead and pre-lubricate this with some oil, making sure that it's not going in there dry, just to push some around the inside of the bearing. Make sure it's pretty well oiled before you put it back in there, and then we should be in good shape to put this back together. Before I put the other one back together, I kind of want to give you a close-up of what this looks like. It's pretty hard to tell, but on each of these rollers here, you can see, kind of based on the light, that there's a flat spot. It seems like on almost all these, and that's what's wore out. This one right here in front of me in particular is pretty flattened out. And I believe that's what's wore out and not being able to crank it over with the Kickstarter. The bearing is going to slide down in there, we'll get the clutch pads. Should slide down in there pretty easy. When we go to put this on, it's important to be a little bit patient with it and spin it around to make sure it slides on there correctly. We've got 2 sets of splines here to get on. So be careful when you go on. Take it nice and easy. You get the first set, spin it around a little bit more until you get the second set, and it slides all the way back on there. We've got this washer to put on, and it's a little bit of a cone shape, not much, but it's rounded out a little bit, and it is marked. It says outside, so we'll put that on the face, facing out, slide that on, and then get the nut. And remember, once again, it goes on there right to left. Tighten it down. The next thing I'm going to do is clean up the surface of the case, making sure that it's clean and we get all the old RTV off. I want to make one quick note about installing the case back on here and putting the bolts back in. When I use the RTV, as you can see here, there's a small amount of the RTV that's hardened, and it's what was in here before. But what I want to note is if you get too much of this in around the bolt holes, when you're putting the case back on, and get it around these holes, when you push the bolts in there, it's going to push some of that RTV down in the hole. And I made this mistake a couple of times, and I don't really want anybody else to, but I chipped off a couple sections of the crankcase. As you can see, maybe right down here, the back where the bolt is missing, and it chipped off. And I believe the answer to that and why it was happening, because I did it a couple of times, it was pretty much creating a hydraulic cylinder with that RTV down in there. And I wasn't getting the bolts that tight, but when that got pushed down in the back of the hole, I tightened the bolt, and before it could bottom out on the case, it was chipping off a piece of the case. All right, so I'm taking a small drill bit to get some of that RTV out of there. I've been getting quite a bit out with this drill bit. The main thing was trying to make sure not to get into the wall of the hole and mess up the threads. Like I said, I just stuck it down in here and was able to draw out some of that RTV to make sure it wasn't going to get compacted in the end and blow out the side of the case like I did a couple minutes ago. It's pulling out quite a bit of that RTV, just like this. A small drill bit is drawing that out to make sure it's not going to bottom out in the end of the hole. This here is the Kickstarter assembly. When we put this in, I would say it's a little bit complicated, but not really. There's just a couple things you have to do. Up in here, there's a little tab that this part here hooks onto. And before we put this all the way in on the gear, I usually take the Kickstarter, slide it on, then we need to spin it while still hooked on to that tab until this piece right here catches on this little spot. And don't forget to put this washer back on. This washer has to go on there first. And when you go to put the case on, it's good to remember that this is actually going to be somewhere up in here, pretty straight. But with that spring tension, it wants to push away. So as you're putting the case on, it's important that you slide this over to the right so the case slides on straight. The next thing is the reverse lockout. So what this is going to do, it's got a lever that attaches up to the reverse lockout switch, or cable as I should say, that releases this and you can put it into reverse. But it slides in here kind of like that, and then you have to take something, usually a pair of needle nose, to get that spring in the right spot. So I take a pair of needle nose, just grab that spring, slide it up in there, and all it does is put tension on it. The next couple of steps to assembling this case involve really a couple of things getting lined up pretty precisely. One of those being this shaft that goes on, and that is actually the shift lever. It goes all the way through to the other side of the case and is what controls the shifting. You have to install this piece here, but you put this up about at that angle, and sometimes you have to mess with this to figure out what angle works best, but that angle there with this lines it up pretty well. I've gone ahead and put some grease on this to help keep that still and where it needs to be, because this spot right here has to go into this hole, and this can move back and forth. The next thing I'm going to do is install ultra black Permatex. This is really the only stuff that I use. It's oil resistant. It's kind of the best one, heavy duty one you can buy for RTV. It holds up really well. It's great to buy. The bigger can here lasts a lot longer and it's easier to use than these, which I have a couple of these left. But the number for that on Permatex is right here, 85080. We're going to use this RTV to go right around the edges of the case and make sure there's a good seal, because this will be full of oil and you want a good seal so it won't leak. Like I said earlier, try to avoid the RTV getting in these holes because I had a couple spots in the case that I'm going to have to repair. So be careful not to do that, but give yourself enough on there that it's going to create a good seal. Well, I think it went. Everything went on. Hopefully everything's lined up. I guess we won't know for sure until we test it. But usually, when everything goes on there all the way, that means that it went correctly, and we'll hope for the best. With the RTV Ultra Black, it's important to put these bolts in just tight enough that the RTV begins to squeeze out the edges of the case. And then I think in about an hour we will go back through and tighten these down all the way. Yeah. Let dry for 1 hour, then tighten the torque specifications, and then 24 hours to fully cure before filling with fluids or returning to service. I think that's going to wrap up today's video. I hope that is helpful to anybody. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to work on this. I plan on pretty much restoring it, getting it done, and back to work. Hopefully it's got a lot of hours left on it. We'll see you on the next video.